Hey Timon, how are you? You right?
Yes, sir.
How are you doing?
Great. How about you?
Yeah, I'm fantastic. All right, Timon, we are together finally, meeting, talking about our journeys together. All right. So, Timon, I thought of doing this video so we talk about our experience with the coaches on the OCD recovery. And well, let's start with you. So, tell me more about your journey and your experience with the coaches. I mean, your coach, I think it's Sam. So tell us more about him.
Yeah, Sam is awesome. I can remember. So when I first came in, I was meeting with Rob for, I don't even remember how many calls now. We'll say five-ish calls. And then I remember he brought Sam. I think this was when Sam was like just starting his coaching. And he brought Sam on and then because I remember Sam was still like working like another job, and then he was kind of coaching on the side, like he was transitioning to coaching full time, like that's how I just really was like I think at the beginning of his career, so to speak. um but Sam's been amazing, and just Sam, but Rob, the whole team, the coaches in general. I know that we're in the same WhatsApp group. We chat all the time. We just
Yeah,
talk about the insights and perspectives that they all have and give us. And of course, there's overlap, but there's also unique perspectives that come from each one that have, I mean, that have been tremendous, and but they see things that when you're going through this process, you just don't see yourself. I think that's true. Just like a progress, just journey, like a journey in life in general. Like I think of, um, like I always think of like fitness, or like say you're losing weight. Like sometimes you see it in yourself. Okay, maybe I've lost some weight. Then someone sees you, they haven't seen you, and feels like whoa, like you lost. I'm like, okay, well, I
exactly.
didn't know that. I mean, thanks for the compliment. So I think sometimes we really fail to see the progress ourselves in life,
I
and
agree.
so I think the coaches, they're great at helping you, of course, and then things that you need to work on and tough love too, and if that's needed, or when it's needed, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's been amazing. Like it's changed my life and helped me significantly. So
Do you think there is a point where you felt some sort of doubts about your coaching? I mean, your experience with Sam, let's say, at any point.
then that's definitely crossed my mind, just because there's times where you're like, is this really working? Is this get me where, right? Because of you. At least I know for me, I've always been under the mindset of, because this is how I was in sports too, because especially with coaching, I've always been like, okay, what can we control? And then let's go all in on it, which can be beneficial, but there can be a lot of cons to that too, because it can be so rigid, right? And for us, that's just not a good spot to be in. And so for me, I'm like, oh yeah, OCD recovery, putting in the work, like what do you need? Like read books, exposures. Like, I mean, I'll throw myself in there. I'll go do it. Just because for me, that's always made sense of working your way out of something. Like you're in a hole, you got to dig yourself out. Okay, like whatever it takes, I'll dig myself out. And to a degree, obviously, I think we kind of do that with OCD. You got to work, but it can't be forced. So it's like there's the acceptance component is that you may never dig yourself out, and
True.
so it's kind of the paradox there, and that takes some kind of restructuring, because I've always been so used to, no, 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 I can do this, I can just, you know so there have definitely been times where I feel like, oh, this isn't working, or I'm doing this thing wrong, and that's why I'm just like, I've caught myself, I'm like, you know what, just keep at it, just to try to stay consistent and just keep pushing along. So that's really all I can do.
It,
So
it's amazing how relatable that. I mean, it's exactly the same. But in my journey with the moment, it's exactly the same. Even when I started with the first call, oh wait, who's that guy? Oh, how I'm gonna do with it? But then, as you mentioned, exactly, and then just go on with it and just trust the process, and then everything. I mean, here we go, here we are. I mean. what a journey is it? Now, did you find uh, stuff that you think? Did you started any recovery work before meeting Sam?
Yes. I mean, just with Rogers, because I knew on the channels, I mean, just from watching other videos that I needed to get the books and start on those. And so I mean, I remember ordering at least I wasn't one that ordered them all at once. I think I just started kind of like piece by piece. And then as I was getting close to the end of one, I would order the next one sort of a thing. So, um, I can't remember if I think the first time I met with Rob, I hadn't started reading yet, but I think I had ordered the first book. And so I talked to him and said, well, I've ordered the first book. I'm, waiting on it because, Rob just kind of wanted to get right into it and figure out, okay, where, where I'm at. And, um, but he sensed, I mean, even back then, he sensed a ton of fear of me, because I was like, that was the big thing is that no one else understood what that was. Like fear, just like when you're trapped in a deep fear cycle and you're just like petrified of like, am I ever going to get out? Because like, yes, there were other fears, but like looking back, like no, it was just that thought of you're stuck in this cycle of this hamster wheel of anxiety, of like intense anxiety, and that you'll never get out. And so if you think there's no way of getting out, I mean, your options seem pretty bleak. I've been down with OCD before, like, I've dealt with mental health. I was like, kind of like ride waves in my life. I'm like, okay, like if you got bad days. Like I try not to put too much into it. But I was like, this was different.
It's not easy. It's not easy.
No.
The whole thing is not easy. I mean, for people who are watching this and our stories are all over the social media now, so they can follow your story mainly. But incredible story, Timon. Just watching it, amazing. I mean, where you big from your beginning in the I've seen your progress mainly because we did it together, I think. We started together, we were together in the WhatsApp group. So we felt each other as well going through this journey. And I can still remember how we used to talk to each other. Even we had a problem even using some of the wording and the tools. And we used to laugh about it at that time. Uh, but you can see the progress. I mean, amazing, isn't it? I mean, even when you think yeah, still a long way for that baseline, but you ju I'm just, we both of us appreciate, for where we are at the minute. Do you think that's happened because we are under this guidance of the coaches on the SCD recovery?
Yeah, I mean, 100% that and just the interactions with the groups. I think learning from like learning from you, um, and because it remind me, I remember that you'd been on the channel for a long time, hadn't you, before you ever came in and met
Yeah,
with Rob?
yeah, that's
Like,
exactly. I think
how long were you doing just the videos before you came in?
no, I've probably done two videos. One with I think it was a real talk with Momin and Nick, one of them. And I think I've done one with Sam as well at some point. And I've done one with Sam and Momin as well. So yeah, I think you've joined at this point. You've joined the group. I was on my recovery journey. I think I was at your level at that time.
Yeah. Well, no, because I mean, even like before you met with the coaches, didn't you like you'd found Rob, but like it was like a year or more before you came in and started meeting?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Maybe maybe I'm making that up, but I thought that's what you said like in some of your videos
In
before.
when I've started my recovery journey, I've started 3 years before going on with the moment. So with you mean with Rob and his videos, probably before even Sam recovered. I mean, it was a long time when they started the first video I've watched. So, but I never joined, never joined. I never done a call onto the OCD recovery, but I've related so much to them. So I've stuck with them for that long until probably it was uh, I would say 2022 when I've made my first contact
Okay.
with Rob. And then I've stayed away from the WhatsApp group for, I've never joined a WhatsApp group for, I was with one moment before that for a long time till I joined the WhatsApp group.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, I remember I was watching the videos. Like I found them in the summer of 23, like the
Yeah,
channel,
yeah.
and then like, but I didn't come into Rob. I probably found it in July. I came into Rob like the end of September of
Oh,
23. Because I remember I finally saw one because I'd seen like Christie's videos. I don't know if you remember, she used to do videos for the channel, and she was talking about Ellis and
yeah,
acceptance. Holy cow, this is amazing. And then um I remember seeing a video that Nick did on body related stuff, and I was like,
yeah.
holy smokes, like, talking to me like, and that's when I was like, I need to get in and talk to these guys. And so I thought, I'll tell you something funny real quick. When I messaged Phil, I thought Nick was Phil. So I was like, hey, I need to meet with Phil. And then Phil's like, yeah, I don't do any coaching, unfortunately. I was like, oh, I was like, okay.
I
I was
think
like, well,
we all
I
done
guess they,
that.
yeah,
Who's Phil? It's
yeah,
exactly. Oh, yeah. Contact Phil on this one, and then we all Phil. You, you're the guy. Come on. We want to
yeah.
recover. Come on, help us. Oh, it's not me actually. But it's great. It's great. Uh, what did you mostly felt useful? I mean, from the whole tools does relate to you. I know all the tools are important. Everybody has to go through them. But what did you think that's mostly just connected to you, and then you found out this is a missing piece on my work?
Well, I think just because anyone can do it immediately, even though it's difficult, but that is learning to do stuff despite on how you feel. Because like that is, I mean, I think it's just such a key part of life, right? It's like there's gonna be so many times you don't feel like doing something like, "Oh, I really don't want to do that right now. I really don't want to take out the trash." That's where I feel like I've really tried to push myself is like it's late at night, trash needs to get taken out. And Nick's stuff has really helped me that way to really push myself of like I'm tired, I'm just worn out. Like, I got to bed late, I got up early, the kids have been crazy, work was long. But there's still these other things that, need to get done in the kitchen. So it's like just really learning not to try not to procrastinate and doing things when you really don't feel like doing it. That coupled with life structure, I just
Amazing.
feel like for me, because like trying to push myself like exercise or things like that, like I've always enjoyed doing that, but even I've pushed myself even more so now. I feel like when it comes to that, because like and there's still plenty of times like I would say a lot of mornings I wake up and I'm look forward to exercise. I look forward to going because I do go or to the gym in the morning or go on a run. I love doing that. But there's still plenty of mornings like I train for this marathon where it's like I'm doing these long runs. I wake up, I'm just like, oh man, like, I really do not want to get out the door like and go on this run. But just get and that's where I'm like, just get out the door and go, and just and then you get a few miles in, you're like, this is awesome. It's just like I've got some music going or whatever. And so it's just I think for me, that's probably one of the biggest things. And of course, obviously beliefs on, but that's a process thing. It's going to take time. And of course, I know, and I'm not saying this other stuff isn't, but like that's something that if someone is struggling, they could start today. They could start tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like they could immediately start to do that.
So do you think that I think it's we got that from Nick, isn't it? His
Yeah.
his his whole life, the journey that he's been through. It just shows you how you can challenge yourself, isn't it? I think it's more you get more inspired about this his story mainly. I mean, it is difficult. Let's be honest. It's not easy to get out from it. I sometimes when I see him now and I think, how did he go through all of this? I mean, it's impossible that he's been. I can't believe it. He's been to this and now he is this one. Is this guy? I mean, all the coaches been through a lot. I mean, all of their stories are incredibly amazing. But you just some things you take it from Nick, like what you've just said, do the things that you think you cannot do, but It's impossible. We still using it. I'm still using it even with my kids and even with my wife. It's amazing, isn't it? I agree with you. This is very, very, very important. What do you think about the acceptance? Uh, Did you learn that before? Did you know about acceptance before?
Well, I mean, maybe not quite in the way that we had talked about it, because like I guess I will say this, and I want to be careful maybe of how I share it on here. But I mean, I've grown up religious, I've grown up Christian, so it's like for me, I've always believed from a religious standpoint that with a belief in God, and quite honestly, now I'm kind of like I don't even know where I am exactly with my beliefs, but that there when it comes to doing things in life or acts performed, like let's say I've done something that I disagreed with, I've always felt like I could be forgiven. I could always forgive myself. I could always move on beyond that. I've never felt like, anything in life was um uh like non-forgivable or I'm making up words now, but like non-comebackable. I don't know, like, no matter what the mistake was, you could change, you could move on, that kind of stuff. Doesn't mean like I didn't really beat myself up pretty bad when I did make mistakes or things that I disagreed with. Um, but and then even like with uh unconditional life acceptance, I think to a degree I've always believed that yeah, life doesn't owe me anything, theory, but really embodying that and really believing that from an unconditional standpoint. And obviously I'm still working on really getting there, and I think that's probably a life journey, continue to get more and more there, to embody that more. And then I was going to say the other one, unconditional love acceptance. Yet again, I'd always believed that like other people have value, they have meaning, that I'm no better than anybody else in terms of, um, just because I can or can't do something doesn't make me like better than them, right? So some of those principles I would say to a degree I've had it, but like in its complexity and in its wholeness, no. Like, and the way that Ellis lays it out, is beautiful. Um, and I think for me, developed really to really work on unconditional self-acceptance, because I'd always been overly hard on myself making mistakes in my life, versus rather than, hey, like really recognizing you're a human being, looking at it more rationally. Doesn't mean you have to like the things that you do, but use it as an opportunity to learn and try to improve and, you know, do better
As
next time.
but that does not come that easy, isn't it? It does need some
No.
time, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not like when we say time, it's not like you're gonna do that in 2 days or 3 days or even a week or a year even sometimes. It needs proper time, and you believe in the perspective of what is acceptance is the whole thing together. Uh, so, do you notice that on your life at the minute? Do you find these stuff happening a lot? Acceptance? Did you find examples in life that you think, oh yeah, I have to accept what other people doing, and because they might have something in their life, so probably that's what put them in that position. That's why probably they are angry, for example, or something like that. Do you do that at the minute? Do you apply these?
Yeah, no, I've always tried, because I mean I teach, and I've always tried to exercise compassion for the kids I teach. And sometimes I've done a better job of like myself, compassion for myself when I do something. I'm like, okay, that probably wasn't the best, but applying compassion there. Um, but I've always tried to remember, and because we talk about this a lot as teachers, like you have to remember that sometimes when kids are acting out, then you learn, okay, well, the parents are going through a divorce, or they found out mom's sick with cancer, or they haven't, they don't have a lot of food to eat at home. Like you learn these stories about some of the kids that you teach, and I can remember Nick's referenced Stephen Covey before. He's an author. He wrote Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, and he shared a story in that book about perspective. And the story was, I think this was in New York subway. This guy's going home, and the long day. He's just tired, exhausted, stressed. and there's this dad with these like young kids and they're just bouncing off the walls, in the subway. And he's just like, it's going on for a while. And finally he kind of gets fed up and he makes a comment to the guy. He's like, hey, like, can you do something about um, excuse me. He's like, can you do something with these kids? And, kind of calm down. He's like, I'm so sorry. He's just like, it was, we just got back from the hospital and, apologize. Um, his, his wife had passed away.
Oh, bless you.
And sorry,
No, that's okay. That shows how human we are.
almost every time I share a story, I get emotional. But the thing was, the gentleman went from being annoyed to, oh my gosh, how can I help this guy? And I think a lot of times in our lives, we maybe assume the worst of someone else. Like that's kind of a natural thing we grow up with, I think, at times, and we have to know realize. It doesn't mean we have to like, obviously, kids bouncing off the walls or things,
Completely agree.
but there's a reason sometimes why those things are happening, and then when we know that, there's a little more compassion there. So anyway, that's what I was
Incredible.
trying to share before I got
And
emotional. So
no, that's incredible story, honestly. But this is show how human we are, honestly. I mean, it's good for people to see where you are at this point. I mean, you are sharing this story. I mean, it can. I think i- if you tell me this story before, it could trigger me as like that, you know. But this is exactly what I mean. I mean, just deploying, embodying these tools in, it just change you as well as a human. You know what I mean? I know you are teaching kids and everything, and that's brilliant. My wife do the same, and she's working with the uh, you know, people with difficulty, learning difficulties. And it is difficult to see them because I can see her every day comes with a story, which makes me my heart break it just to see these kids like that, you know. But then you have to accept life how it is for everyone, you know. Before you just say That's not fair, not fair, not fair, not fair." But there is no, universal law saying that they have to go through this or all that. But we are a human at the end of the day. We'll feel.
yeah, no, totally. And I think for me, the the thing that's always brought me a lot of joy and satisfaction in my life is trying to help other people in those moments, as best I can. And I'm not always in a position to help, but I think for me, whether from a religious component or just a human component, just like when I've really just tried to help someone else, like when I give to someone else with no thought of reward, like and I think there's really something to be said about that when you help someone without expecting anything in return. It's or they have nothing to give you. You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying you have to do that, but I think for me, I found a lot of value in that. And I would say in my life, the times I've been probably the most joyous is when I've done that, when I've been in opportunities, whether it's helping someone out in their yard, or maybe they needed help moving, or needed a meal or something, like whatever it is, and I'm in a position to help. Um, that's important for me to try to do. And
I
um,
mean, you're doing that even in the groups. I mean, in the WhatsApp group, you always help. I mean, you are on a daily basis. I think you are the most encouraging person among everyone. I mean, you are there for them, and I can see that, and it's amazing. It's just touching me, and I feel very proud of you, and I'm proud of Sam as well. I mean, with the incredible work that we've done with you. I mean, this moment is amazing. That's creating me, the goddess and everything. But no, the work that it's all back to say thank you to Rob, to just you know finding this great team, and then the OCD recovery itself, the journey. It's amazing, isn't it? Meeting people like that, and I'm meeting you. I mean, incredible. I mean, you are an incredible person as well, Timon, and that's why I wanted to do this video with you. I've seen your story. I mean, your post on a daily basis, amazing.
Well, I feel the same way. I mean, that's how I feel about you. I mean, I don't know if I have anything of value to add, but I mean, I really appreciate you. And
No, thank you
I
so
always I
much. I
always say
know.
you're the man because it's true. That's how I
No,
feel.
no,
So one
come
of
on,
these days,
don't. Well,
I'm coming over there. So I'm going to meet you in person and
no,
Sam and
yeah, well, we have to. I mean, in my list, you are in my list. I mean, my family lives in Arizona, so at some point I'm going there. So, you
do you
know,
have family in Arizona?
yeah, my mother, my sister, my brother-in-law, so my even brother now is in Arizona, so they all live in Phoenix. Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, if you're coming out there, I'm coming down.
No, where are you? It's
I'm in
like
Utah.
another
We
country, isn't it?
border. Utah, Arizona, we border, so I'll just sneak right on
Come
down.
down, yeah,
Yes.
definitely. No, we will definitely make it happen. So it's not difficult, you know. I want to meet you, meet Nick, and hopefully we'll do the you are the next in my list. So because I've just done that side, I'm just trying to meet Elliot and hopefully at some point Gemma as well. So and then move on.
Awesome.
But definitely it's gonna be you at some point. So prepare yourself. Well, thank you for this, Timon. It was incredible. What do you say to the people now watching this, and do you like an advice about the OCD recovery as a group, as a community?
Yeah, I think you got to be willing to be like just committed to the process and be patient and be consistent. Like Rob talks about all the time, the consistency, the persistence, and sticking with it because it is. I mean, in fact, he and I just kind of ended up messing each other in the group the other day. And, he talked about how there were years where where he was working on his recovery, but it didn't seem like there's any way out. And so it's like, excuse me, like as you come to accept, I mean, you don't need to, be recovered or, things like that's one of the things that you've got to really work towards and accept. But like, working for it for a long time without that expectation, and I think that's probably one of the hardest things because we always expect, okay, well, if I put this in, then I'm going to get this back. And life doesn't owe us that. And it doesn't always work that way. But I think there's always a reward in trying to do something as best you can and staying consistent with it. And I've always found the joys in the journey. It's like even if you reach a goal, like that's always fun and that's cool, but just it's always the moments along the way. Like whenever I've coached, like because I coached American football and I can remember like one year we had a really good team, like great group of kids, just a group that you just love to coach. We had really good players, but they were just hard workers and just the kids you just absolutely love to be around. And I can remember thinking back, like it was the early morning weightlifting session. We're in there blasting music, guys are yelling, we're all, and I'm like, those are just some of my favorite memories, just doing that with the guys, all off season in the early morning when no one else is even thinking about the season months away. And so anyway, that's just it. Joy, I think to me, there's always if you can find joy in the journey in your life, that's what it's all about because you never know when you're going to go. And so if we spend our lives thinking, oh, once I get here, life's going to be amazing, it's just not true. Rob always says all the time, like you get there and you find a new set of problems, or um, that might be fun for a week or two, and then it's like, okay, what's the next thing? And so um, anyway just yeah, stay with it and be patient, do what the coach asks you to do, and can work on your beliefs if there's cutting the compulsions, all that kind of stuff. So
Well, I totally agree with you. I mean, same points probably would apply. People need to understand we aren't coaches in here, so what we are saying in this video is completely out of our experience. So good luck for everyone, and thank you, Timon, for this incredible time with you. Thank you for joining me for this one. Okay, so
Thanks for
hopefully we'll do some more once we have some other subjects. All right.
you're the man. Thank you.
You are the man.